all in all, how's everybody doing? We are here for another movie talk. Just to let you know that there's going to probably be some spoilers in here as we discuss the new movie that we just saw that just came out this week, and that is X-Men Dark Phoenix. So X-Men Dark Phoenix is the fourth film in the franchise of what I like to call the X-Men First Class saga. It's presumably to be possibly the last one too in the series. I'm not sure. I have no idea what they're going to be doing with the X-Men characters since Disney bought 20th Century Fox. So we'll have to see what happens with these characters in this franchise. But this review is to talk about Dark Phoenix and try to get as much as we can in it about this movie. The thing about Dark Phoenix going into this film, huge X-Men fan, but at the same time a little nervous because, I don't know, something about it, when I started watching the trailers, I felt like something was off, and it just didn't feel like it felt like the other three previous movies as far as the characters, the style, even the cinematography. So going into this movie, I kind of hit it because this movie, Dark Phoenix, it did not feel anything like First Class, Days of Future Past, or Apocalypse. Something was off with this movie, and I was so disappointed and bummed out. I felt like the story was completely rushed. Like, there was no good plot to this movie whatsoever, given the fact that we have finally the most, or one of the most powerful mutant characters ever, which is the Phoenix. And I just felt like the story was just really thing for me. It was very jumpy. There was no time for character development, character emotional depth. I felt like everything was fast paced. A lot of the characters just did not have screen time, which I was really shocked of. There was even some, spoiler alert, some killings that, based on the trailers, because the trailers basically tell you who dies and you totally see it coming in the movie. So the twists and turns were not there. I was not shocked or surprised by anything in this movie. I felt like the budget was rushed, and they ran out of money, and the writers just did not put their heart and soul into it. It's a different director than Bryan Singer. The direction was god awful. Man, this movie just didn't know what to do. I feel like it was like the production company was like, hey, we got to make another one. Let's do it. Let's put Phoenix in. People want that. And boom, boom, boom. And it just felt like this movie did not give itself time. This movie had 3 years to come up with a good story. And I'm a huge fan of James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender as Professor Charles Xavier and Magneto. And Xavier's character was completely different and just nothing like what you wanted or expected in a bad way. Magneto's character just was so his story in Apocalypse was amazing. He had such a great arc and just a great level of peeling the onion and development. And he just was a fleshed out character. All these characters were fleshed out. There was no character in this movie that had anything going for them and no drive for the story. It just, like I said, it was just very rushed, dry story. Everything was just terrible, and I left the movie just feeling very disappointed, especially if this is going to be the last X-Men movie within this franchise, because Marvel, Disney is going to take over, obviously. Wanted to see a good send-off for Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy with these characters that they've been involved since 2011, and I just feel like this movie did not bring anybody justice. X-Men Dark Phoenix, my rating for this movie, it's going to be I'm going to give this movie like a 4.5 out of 10, and I know that seems extremely low and terrible, but I just am very strict when it comes to these comic book movies and these characters that I have really enjoyed and got into. So I'm giving this a tough grading. I would say if you are a huge X-Men fan, if you're a huge fan of these movies that you've been watching, it's definitely in a way you need to see it, just because it's good to see additional story to these characters, even though the way they did it in this film was not good whatsoever. But I still am glad I saw it, because I still would be like, oh, what happened in this movie if I didn't see it? Just be aware it's not going to be anything that you're going to be too thrilled about, at least in my opinion. This is just my thoughts, my objective of everything that I saw. So Flash Mystique, she dies. Jean Grey kills her, Phoenix kills her, and you see it in a trailer because she's saying she killed her friend, and you see Raven flying, and one of the X-Men died because there's a whole funeral scene in the trailer. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there was no surprise, there was no twists, turns, shock, and awe to this movie. I saw everything coming. Quicksilver, Magneto's son, that was something I was looking forward to because in the end of Apocalypse, you see that he was about ready to tell Magneto, like, hey, I'm your boy, I'm your son, and he did, and he's like, it's not the right time. I thought this was going to be a great movie where he and his dad can kind of like come together and have that talk. That never happened. Quicksilver had like probably 5 minutes of screen time in this movie. He was in and he was out. He was just like out of commission, and you don't see him to the rest of the whole movie until the very end, and you see him never talking to his father at all. Charles Xavier, he retires. He retires from the X-Men Academy, and they rename Xavier's School of the Gifted to Jean Grey School. If I'm totally wrong, guys, like, I don't remember that happening at all, like even in the comics or in the the really good cartoon in the 90s. Like, I don't remember any of this stuff that's happened, that he retires and they change the school name. I don't know what they were doing. I think it really screwed up again. They did that whole X3 Last Stand thing when they changed directors, and they changed directors with that movie and then with this movie. So it's like, I felt like if they sticked with the same director, even though Bryan Singer obviously had those terrible things that he was that he did in the past, he wasn't able to make the movie, so they were stuck with a different director, and it didn't pull off. But yeah, so there was those main things were just things that I did not like and I did not enjoy, and just added on to just having a bad story and just bad characterization for these people. So I feel very disappointed with Dark Phoenix. I feel like they could have done a lot better. They should have done a lot better, and I don't know what's going to happen now with the X-Men, or if this is it and they're just going to reboot it again and do different characters and actors for it. So we'll see. So yeah, what do you guys think? Comment, let me know your thoughts, what you thought of X-Men Dark Phoenix. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. I really appreciate it. And as always, I will see you guys on the next discussion of new movies that have come out. And yeah, so have a wonderful day. Take care. See you guys later.